Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 1st Alpine City Council meeting. We had a workshop earlier. Now we're going to transition into the regular meeting. We have the normal agenda we follow according to our ordinance planning chapter 23, and we'll work our way through so much more formal. We'll have the opportunity to follow the agenda, there'll be an opportunity for public comments, public hearings, and then we have our agenda we will work our way through. Let's go and start the meeting by doing our pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, indivisible. Thanks very much. Next on our list is determination of quorum and proof of notice of the meeting. We have all the council members here, and the mayor is on video link. She is speeding her way back from the Middle Odessa area. Hopefully we'll see her on the line or possibly here, depending upon how long the meeting runs tonight. Proof of notice of the meeting, please.
Yes, proof was posted by 5 p.m. on July 15th, 2026.
Very good. Thanks very much. So next we have is public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening?
Yes, we do. We have 2 public comments.
Okay.
Both are in reference to item number 16, the executive session.
Number 16, executive session. And who do we have up first?
Attorney Rod Cotton.
Hey, Rod.
Good evening, council. My name is Rob Putnam, as you know, and I represent 3 landowners on the east end of Alpine. Mr. Dunshey's here, and the other 2 landowners are James Yarborough and the folks that have the little concrete plant over there. And those properties were annexed into the city of Alpine in 2007 with a promise to provide water and sewer services to those properties upon annexation. And they were never provided. They've never been given water or sewer service. The Texas Local Government Code provides a procedure for disannexation, and we've filed a proper petition, done the proper posting and notice in the papers. So we're requesting that the city council approve the disannexation request that we submitted by petition. Thank you very much. This is next.
Gary Dunshey, I'm the owner of Big Bend Saddlery. I'm one of the 3 people that wanting to be de-annexed from the city. Don't have anything else to say other than what Mr. Bronson said. We were annexed in 2007. We haven't been provided anything, and we're ready to quit paying taxes.
Great. Thanks, Gary. Are there any other public comments?
No, sir, there are not.
So hearing none, thank you very much. We now have public hearings. And this is an opportunity for anyone from the audience to have up to 3 minutes to address the first item. So we'll start public hearings at 5:35 this evening. The first is a public hearing to obtain citizens' views and comments regarding the second reading of ordinance 2026-07-01 and ordinance approving rezone application 2026-07-01, amending the official zoning map of the city by rezoning the property located at 1301 West J and legally described as a 2-acre tract of land, more or less, known as Tract 1, out of the east half 1 and Lot 2, Means Addition Subdivision A to the city of Alpine, Brewster County, Texas, as the same appears in the map on plat records on file in the office of the county clerk of Brewster County, Texas. Rezoning the subject property from R2 multifamily district to R4 mixed residential district, providing findings of fact, repealer, severability, effective date, proper notice, and hearing clauses. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll move on to item B. Public hearing to obtain citizens' view and comments regarding special use permit 2026-07-01, the special use permit allowing the applicants and property owners of record, Travis Waldrop and Allie Brianna Waldrop, to establish a short-term rental at 305 North First Street in Alpine The parcel ID of the subject property is 35496. Are there any individuals who'd like to make comment on that? Hearing none, we'll close public comments at 5:36 PM. We'll now move on to the next item of the agenda, which is item number 5, public presentations. I'm not aware that we have any presentations or recognitions this evening. Not aware that we have any proclamations for this evening, or do we?
No, but I am hearing a message from the mayor that she cannot listen, so I'm gonna pause for a second.
Okey dokey, so we'll pause for a second since the mayor can't hear us, because the next is community interest comments from the mayor. Catherine, can you hear us? See the left and right head shake that says no. Hold on, Catherine, all we see is your left eye right now. Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
We got you now. Okay, so here's your opportunity, Catherine. Mayor comments.
Wave your hand if you can hear me. Okay, the volume is very low, so I'm not sure what it's like for the recording for the YouTube. It's like the
fine.
microphones aren't on or something.
Go ahead and
Can
go,
you tap
Catherine. We
them?
can hear you fine. We can hear you. Catherine, we can hear you fine.
Okay, thank you.
So as the mayor, do you have some announcements for us?
Say that one more time.
Do you have any announcements for us?
I do. There we go. We're getting volume now. Okay. I do. Thank you. Okay, so I want to remind everybody that Viva is the 22nd and the 26th of this week. And then the Alpine Business Coalition will meet on August 6th, which is a Thursday at 6:30 at West Texas National Bank. And then we also won the Tourism Friendly Travel Award. So we received that during the roundtable. 17th through 18th of September is Trappings. And then Sewell Ross Rodeo, 24 through 26. That's it.
Thanks, Catherine. Henry,
Thank you.
announcements?
Just that we
Yeah.
continue to work on the financial audits to get them caught up. And the deadline to apply for that $10 million grant from the Texas Water Development Board is due on 7/30/2026. We had a meeting today for any pending items that we have between the utilities department and the financial department. So we're working through that.
Great. Thanks, Henry. Let's start. Rich, any announcements?
No, sir.
Eva?
Yes, sir. We have 2 ribbon cuttings this week, 2 new businesses. And Thursday, the 23rd, we have a ribbon cutting for B Bank Tacos. It's by the cow dog, that area. And then next week, on Thursday, the 30th, is the club. They open the doors, it's across the street from Native Plains. So,
Great. Thanks.
2 new businesses, yay!
Yay. Rob?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You see? Nope. And the only one I have from a overall announcement standpoint is we had a meeting last night with the Alpine Country Club Estates residents to talk about the roads out there. Good meeting. Henry was there and Eddie was there. A good dialogue about what's going on to work the neighborhood areas. And we may have a strategy going forward relative to Country Club Estates, a number of actions and items to go on. Okay. So that's all I have. Next, we go into item number 6, which is changes to posted agenda. Are there any items to be continued or withdrawn?
I have 2 items to remove.
And Are there any other items to be continued or withdrawn? So since that requires a motion and a second, I will take that, Rob, as you're making the motion to withdraw. Is there a second?
I second.
Rich has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please by saying aye.
Aye.
Yep, okay. Any opposed? Okay, so items A and B from the consent agenda are withdrawn. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion? Which is a simple request. Hearing none, move on item C. Any items to be added to the consent agenda? Saying none, and item D is time sensitive items. We may move those to sensitive. I know there is one item, and I'm going to propose that we move the 9-month check-in by Jake and Martin for AMPS from reports and presentations, which is typically limited to 6 minutes, and we move that to information and discussion. Is there any objection on the part of council to do that? Okay, so we'll consider that to be the case, and we'll make that item 11E. We'll put that because we know that will be the opportunity for some discussion there.
Council students, I'm sorry, just, can we take a recess to fix this? There's no audio on Zoom at all.
Okay, so we'll take a 5-minute recess then, while we try and work the audio, because in order to have the mayor participate as a member of council and the discussions, she has to have not only visual, which we have, but we got to have audio. So we'll take a 5-minute recess and reconvene at 5:50. Thank you. Okay. No worries. Thank you very much. Keep it posted. Thanks, bye. How we doing?
They give them to us. Oh, who do you have? Give you one.
How we doing?
I don't know what happened.
Anyone else here? So John Green, can you hear us?
I sure can, Rick.
Thanks, John. Cynthia, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
Okay, so Catherine is the one we're struggling with, right? Catherine, can you hear us?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so Catherine can hear us. Okay. So let's get ready to reconvene. We can find our two missing council members. That's
Recut the heat.
So no one can hear this. I mean, they can hear us, but I mean, John can hear us, Cynthia can hear us, Catherine can hear us.
There's like, some other people outside. So we can continue the meeting just like that. It's a good place.
Would you want to reset? How long would it take to reset?
Well, they have to log in again. Everybody have to log in.
What it's worth, Rick, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
So they can hear us because we're right here.
Yep.
From the report, it's not recording any sound.
so we're not getting any recording at all. So we'd have
Just
no,
the video.
just the
We
video.
can continue like that and we'll just take notes and the minutes will be showing.
Okay, I don't know, at this point, my view is probably the most efficient way to go is take notes.
Okay.
And we'll go from there, okay? So we'll reconvene, and for those who may be wanting to watch the Zoom later on, we have no audio, we just have video. We'll take copious notes and make sure those are published as part of this meeting. Let's move on to the, as we reconvene on to item number 8, the consent agenda. City Secretary, consent agenda items C, D, and E, please.
See, approval of the June 2026 invoice for Barukas Law Firm Services. D, approve order 2026-06-01 an order correcting a typographical error for early voting dates and location, federal postcard application dates, and name of early voting clerk the 4th of November 3rd, 2026, order of general election. And E, approve order 2026-06-03, an order approving a joint election services contract with Brewster County for the November 3rd, 2026 general and special elections.
Yeah, thanks very much. Is there a motion of the council to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion that we approve this. My second.
So we have a motion and we a second. All in favor, or please signify by saying you approve. Rich?
Aye.
Eva?
Aye.
Lucy, thanks very much. We have approval of the consent agenda 4-0. I cannot vote. So I'm monitoring the meeting, except in a tie. On to item number 9, we have no items removed from the agenda. Next item we have is item number 10, reports and presentations. We have 3 of them tonight. The first we have is the Alpine Volunteer Fire Department update from the head of the Emergency Services Board, if he so chooses.
No, he sent an email that he was not gonna be present because they sent it to San Antonio.
Okay, so Rusty, you lucked out. So thanks very much for being here, and we will press on. So we'll pick that up in the next meeting. And now we have the Emergency Service Board Chair, a report by Rusty Moore.
Thank you very much, Henry. Council, our mobile mayor. Thank you very much for the opportunity to provide this update. I'm appreciative of that. My name is Rusty Moore. I'm the current chairman of the Alpine Emergency Services Board. And it's certainly a pleasure to provide this update. I actually enjoy these. We're doing good work. City's seeing a great return on the investment, and it's a great opportunity for me to personally say thank you for your confidence in what we're doing. And I know as we approach the budget cycle, I want you to think about all the good stuff we're doing, because that's important. One thing I'm happy to pass along, we did complete our audit. It was our first audit since we stood this thing up in 2023. We welcome these opportunities. We welcome the next one. We look forward to it. We invited the auditor. If there's anything that she needed from us on more frequency, anything she'd specifically like to see, we're happy to get more involved in that, get deeper into the weeds, any items she'd like to visit about. We responded formally to that item. We had a few points. Really, it was if we identified a payment on one side, maybe it's in the general ledger, we had to make sure it was also listed in QuickBooks. All the information was there. It was making sure it tied to the appropriate programs. We had the opportunity to take a process and turn it into a policy. And that was our purchasing order process. And so really all we did was formalize what we were already doing. She just wanted to see that in more of a policy, which we did. So that was a pleasure to do. And it was a good audit. So we were excited about that. And I think all of this matters. Being able to, y'all know this better than anybody, being able to show a good, clean audit, what you're doing with the money, how it's being spent, how it's being invested, your business acumen 101, your philosophies of how we are managing this fire department. It all is a building block on what we're trying to accomplish, whether it's in grants, which we're in a constant state of financial anxiety. I mean, aren't we all? As a 501c3 nonprofit trying to do something that is extremely important for this community, we want to make sure they have the best trainings, the best equipment, for a lot of reasons, not only first responder safety, so they all go home at night, but also those that they are responding to, make sure they know what they're doing, how they're doing it to protect the public that they are entrusted to serve. And that's something that we're really proud to support as well. We have the best trained fire department, I think, in the history. It's unprecedented to see the certifications, the dedication. One of my favorite quotes that I can actually say in public from General George Patton is, the more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle. And I think our fire chief understands that and expects that within the ranks of the department. And the training is stellar. There's a return on that. Recently reported that an ISO, Public Protection Classification rating, it's a score of 1 to 10 that evaluates the fire department's ability to protect its community. That's right out of the book, with 1 being the best and 10 indicating minimal recognized fire protection. Chief Etchison stated volunteer fire departments generally cap out at a 2, simply due to volunteerism, funding. The 1s and the 2s are normally reserved for your 24/7 professional firefighters that do this for a living and are on the payroll. Alpine Volunteer Fire Department just received a rating of 3. I don't know that we've ever had a rating of 3. I'd have to look in the Wayback Machine to see if that's the case. That's important for a lot of reasons. Not only are they dedicated and spending more than they're required, 110 hours of training, but it's reflected in the insurance premiums, our evaluations for homeowners and businesses. When you see a fire department that is of that caliber and what it can do for the that is return on that investment. That is immediate return on the investment to the citizens and what we're trying to accomplish and why that is important. We are currently working on a new water truck, a pumper truck financing. One of the grants that we received is a $300,000 Forest Service grant that is reimbursable. So it was thought that we wouldn't be able to accomplish this locally. I happen to know a little bit about bankers, and I felt like we could do this locally. And so I'm very happy to report that we have lending institutions that are willing to work with us on this. It's fairly unconventional. It's a little different, but they believe in what we're doing because we can illustrate accountability, transparency, and willingness to make this work. And so we're going to be looking at two financing opportunities, and pretty proud of how we do that. And that matters as we're able to show these grant pursuits. I would like to, at some point, I knew Golly years ago, it was before we did all of this, 2017, I think there was a Energy Transfer, provided a grant to the fire department, and I would like to reapproach them again. I don't know how we do that. We kind of need to show, what have we done with the first one? That's why we have been so successful with the Yarborough Association or Yarborough Foundation. We recently got word that we were approved for a $20,000 grant from the Yarborough Foundation again this year. Last year, I think it's $15,000. They had no qualms in approving that because they know what everything went in last year's grant to the penny. So I think that's important to be able to show that. And so, hopefully, I'm going to work with the city on kind of what we did with that. I say we as a community, what we did with that in 2017, where it went, because I'd like to approach them again and say, listen, that's the 501c3. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we can show. And I think it'd be responsible for them to sit down and have a visit with us. One other thing that I'd like to note, something we're very proud of that we're helping to foster and facilitate as a board is junior firefighters. Not sure if y'all are aware that there is a junior firefighter organization now that's been brought to the surface. The Chief Etchison and the other firefighters are all supporting these kids. I was really excited to see that there are young individuals interested and feel a calling to community service. As y'all know, as well as I do, that ain't what it used to be. And so it's really good to see these kids involved in that. And as a board, what we have decided to do is we felt that this whole process, they have their separate account. They have to present a proposal to the fire chief on what they want to do, how they want to spend the money. That is then brought up to the board for review. Our treasurer is involved in this as well. We felt like this was a very good overall opportunity for the a teaching moment for these young firefighters on budgeting, forward thinking, accounting, and most importantly, accountability. And so they're going through a whole business process as well as getting to play on the really cool fire trucks. And so they do love that as well. But this is something I'm real proud of. They're going to be involved at some point in the fire hydrant projects as well, which is something else that is good return on that investment. Those are all GIS. They'll be made available at some point for public viewing. One of the projects now is covering the bonnet on top to make sure that those are properly colored. That is a visual, immediate visual of the operability of those. One thing about those firefighters, junior firefighters, they were featured, they were at a camp in June in Corpus Christi and featured at a local news station. They were kids that traveled the furthest to that camp, and they were as fine of ambassadors to this community as you could ever imagine. Polite, well-mannered, hardworking, hungry for education. They represented us very, very well. You can find this report on them online. I encourage you to take a look. It's good for your soul. Anyway, very proud of that we're helping to facilitate. Happy to answer any questions. I could brag on this project all day long. Pleasure to be here tonight, and I appreciate that opportunity.
No, thank y'all. Thank you for everything y'all do. And that's pretty exciting and kind of shows that our community, you know, I mean, we hear it a lot, you know, even coaching and things like that, how well mannered all our kids are. So really reflects on our whole community, you know, as a whole. But, you know, thank you. That's exciting to hear everything y'all are doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all your hard work. You're doing great. Please keep going, you know, for the good of the community.
Rusty, thank you, and the rest of the board from a council member standpoint, as also a firefighter. We really appreciate everything y'all do and all your support that you give us.
I think y'all are doing great. I see all the posts on social media. And now with having those two firefighters, I love that. Because, you know, they're gonna want to keep going and they'll encourage others to join. So that's important. Thank you. Keep on.
Mayor?
Yes, I wanted to thank you. Thank you, Rusty. It's a stellar team all the way around, from the leadership, the board, all the way to our firefighters. Wonderful job. I mean, a rating of 3, man, come on, that's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you.
Trustee, and I presume you're looking for $60,000 in the budget out of us this next year, correct?
At a minimum.
Yeah. Had to ask. Very much so. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next is entering an update on the Alpine Country Club.
All right, we have the Vice President, Mr. Yanez here.
Hello, my name is Adam Yanis. I am, like the senior manager said, Vice President of the Alpine Country Club, which we were just voted in on June 30th. Myself and 2 others.
Live in the city or not?
Sir?
Which are you live in the city?
Yes, sir. I do. Born and raised right here in Alpine, Texas. Ward.
Lucy.
Lucy does. Yes, yes, sir. Sorry. Yes. So yeah, just to give y'all a brief update about what's been going on there at the country club. You know, we just really want to do some major upgrades and get that place looking a little bit better. I know in the past y'all have always asked for assistance and help with what we need, and there are a lot of things that we do need up there help with. And I believe if we can get with the city, water, parks, wherever it may be involved, even the streets department, I mean, I think we could really utilize a bunch of areas in the city for some help. But we're looking to get going with the new lease agreement, and that's coming up here pretty quick in the future. I believe we just signed the 90-day letter of agreement. So hopefully here pretty quick we can get a lot of stuff ironed out and utilize the city a little bit better.
Talk to him about the 2 tournaments that the country club just had.
Yes.
Couples and the legends, how successful they both were.
Yes. So as like I said, since I've been on the board, there's been a lot of community help. We actually have an actual group that's part of the country club. And we had a lot of volunteers come out and help prepare the golf course, which took a lot of man hours, which us as a country club, we only at the time we're only employing 1 actual course manager. And so when we had about 7, 8 guys step up and help take care of that course and get it prepared for the 2 major tournaments, everything went well. The people that traveled from out of town gave us a lot of compliments, but it takes a village. I mean, we had about 7, 8 guys out there, and pretty much, I mean, half of that is what it would really take to manage that place correctly. But as you know, we don't have funds like that. We don't generate funds like that there, but we are now a profit organization. And hopefully in the future, we can get, like I said, some more guidance and some more help from the city, that we can employ a few more employees, especially for out on grounds, because that's where we need it most.
Thank you for stood up and keep that country club going on.
What can we do to help you and assist the rest of the board?
I mean, speaking, I would say more for grounds. I think, we need a lot more help. I mean, I know the city, I mean, y'all do asphalt. We do have cart paths that are asphalt. We need a lot of repairs on some of those. I mean, it wouldn't be asking y'all to deliver, I don't know how many yards it would actually be, but I mean, we would take whatever was available to us after y'all have done y'all streets and paved y'all's roads and stuff like that after the year that y'all do that. I believe that's kind of a summertime, springtime deal. I mean, we would definitely take the leftovers if that was available to us. I mean, stuff like that, extra water. I know that we do get some water. They just recently started releasing the effluent water to us, but there's also another city water line that's tapped into that tank. If we could get that released to us as well, I mean, water's key on the golf course. It really is, and the more the merrier. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are. Yes, sir. A week. Yes. Yes. They're filling that tank up every evening.
I would say go back to the rest of the board and get a good list together of what y'all need. And then we can finally sit down and go over this like our contract says we ought to.
Yep.
And try to come to terms and see what we can do, have some mutual aid in getting this going.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
How many employees do you have?
Well, I think at the time, as of right now, we actually have, I think I want to say 5 bartenders. We just hired a part-time employee for the grounds to assist our full-time employee. So we're looking at 7, maybe 8 employees total that are getting a paycheck from the country club.
Mayor,
Any questions, comments?
I wanted to say we are excited about the new board and where you're going to be able to take the country club. Also, you had a couple of your board members that attended the Alpine Business Alliance or Alpine Business Coalition last month. We look forward to you guys returning so that we can also assist you with referring and networking and whatever it takes to help you be successful.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor.
Any closing comments?
No, just our team is working closely with them.
Great,
We're communicating. They each got their contact information.
super. Okay, when do you expect we'll see that back to council then? For the next, because we're 60 days left in the 90-day
Yeah, I'd
temporary.
say maybe in a month.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thanks very much.
Thank y'all.
thank you.
Okay, next we move into item 11, which is information discussion items. We now have 5 items here. We're going to start with,
Oh, we've got 10D.
I'm sorry,
10D?
no, 10D, we moved into 11.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yep, we made that 11E. So we have information discussion. We're going to start with the Old Town or the Old Train Station Salvation Project regards to saving the station. The mayor put that on the agenda, but I know Todd is here. Todd, you want to come up and run through that? And Catherine, do you want to make any comments as Todd is coming up?
Yes, thank you, Todd, for being here, and thank you for taking this and running. It's a very
problem.
important item that the community is very interested in saving the old train house. So
Catherine, your video went blank, so you probably want to get that worked on. Todd, name and ward.
My name is Todd Elrod. I live on 7th and Harriet, so I'm not sure my ward. But,
Okay.
yes, this train station off Del Rio, the whole community has really come together wanting to try to save it. The dimensions are about 25 feet wide by 50 foot in length. TxDOT has plans to demolish the building. Everybody that has heard about what we're trying to do has brought up memories from the youth to older people to everybody wanting to save this building. Some of the things that we've been having trouble with is getting through with TxDOT on the allocation of the building. They said if through political lines and everything, the city of Alpine, because of its deterioration, could possibly be given the building for a sale of $1 or something of that nature, but it would have to go through all those processes. That was from Chad Coburn. He works for TxDOT and was in charge of that. For moving it, we've had it looked at structurally, and for TxDOT to be able to move it or sell it to us, we would need a asbestos test and lead test to make sure it would be okay to even get it moved. We've had some local architects and people look at it. It will need to be structurally built up, but it is able to be moved. And what we're really looking for is the location in town or around town. We've talked to individuals and just, we've got the size of the building and just really need a place to put it before we can really move forward and do anything else with it. But the whole community, every time people have come up to me on the streets, wherever I'm at, and they talk about this building, the memories they have with it and what they remember and all this stuff. So the whole community really wants to do something with this building, turning into a museum or a space that we could share, make it a public space. But that's kind of where we're at. We've done some basic research, but until we can find out if we can even get it or find a location, there's no point putting the cart before the horse.
Who owns the building?
TxDOT owns the building, I believe. It's part of the Santa Fe Rail Division out of San Angelo, Texas Pacifico Rail Line, but I believe TxDOT owns the building.
You've done all the research to confirm all that?
Yes, sir. But that's all I have to really say right now is that's where we're at. The whole community is really trying to rally behind this, and we're just kind of come to a stopping point because we can't move forward without having an idea of if we can even move it or
So
get
you're
it.
trying to do some fundraising or what's your?
We've had some ideas of doing some fundraising. We've thought about setting up 501c3s. We've got a group of people. We've got an email list of people that have been coming to the meetings and talking about how we want to go about it. But until we figure out if it can be moved and how to move it, it's kind of we're at a standstill right now, but the whole community is really interested in saving that piece of history.
So have you spoken with the Texas Historical Society or any?
We have reached out to them and we've been waiting to hear back. We've just kind of come to a stopping point. We've reached out to some people and just hadn't been able to move forward on anything at this point.
Questions?
I got a few. What year was the building constructed?
I believe that building was constructed around the 1940s.
Okay. So it can be labeled as historic. Another question, why do they want it moved after all these years now?
They're gonna try to open up the rail line. They want to put a switching station in there. So it's gonna have to be demolished or moved. And it's been on the city manager's list. They met with the TxDOT to look at it in order to see if it could be demolished.
So that's Trans-Pacifico owns it? Or the rail?
No, I believe TxDOT.
But that rail is Trans-Pacifico.
Yes, but the property is.
But Trans-Pacifico's got to be pushing if they're gonna put
Yes.
a rail there.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Then last, if maybe it is able to be moved, asbestos lead, test comes back that everything's good. What about the city? Do we have any property, move that building, put it as a historical marker here in town? Something we can think about.
Right, be a good place to have community events. I mean, go into the archives of the Big Bend, find some old photos of it, make it a little historical museum spot where tourists can come look at it and have events. All sorts of things of that nature is what we've been trying to kind of come up with.
Yeah, I don't know what we have downtown, Henry.
Yeah, I haven't researched, see what lots we have of it, yeah.
Okay.
That's all I had.
And thanks for. Eva?
What does the city need to do to help your project?
Right now, y'all would have to talk with TxDOT about being able to purchase the building.
So the city will buy the building? or
Maybe.
The community?
That either the city or the community, but I mean, I was just
How much time do we have to do that? Do they have a frame?
they haven't given us a frame yet. The city manager they met on July 16th and 17th with the city manager about looking at the building to see what they wanted to do with it. So
So when you say city manager, you're talking about Henry?
The people from Texas Pacific came.
Oh, they did, okay.
Yeah, because it's part of the real cog economic development.
Yep.
And that's one of the things on the city's list. And I think from their standpoint, they're thinking of possibility, maybe it can create like when you bring in the rail, then you offload it and then truck it somewhere else.
That's what the plan would be, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Which could, economic development,
Yeah,
could
yeah.
create some jobs.
You know, I met with Texas Pacifico back in 2015. That was a discussion. We had a lot of meetings about what the plan was. It's finally beginning to become a discussion. So that's what they're wanting.
And I think they said they were gonna be replacing so many miles of track.
Yep, yep.
So the building has to be removed from there.
I think they wanted,
They want to move. Texas Pacifico does.
So really, I think the asbestos and lead test has to be done first
yes,
to see, if because what if it comes back?
Right. we can't do anything with it. Well, sorry, like we tried.
Mhm. Okay.
Oh, I think we need to get those tests done before we can do anything. And who's gonna pay for that?
And that's where we've been at a stopping point.
Mayor, anything else you want to add?
I was cutting in and out there just for a moment. So Todd, thank you for taking this initiative on for the community. I appreciate all the legwork and hard work you've been doing. You've spoken to the judge about a possible location in the county, you said.
He's working, Judge Huntington, I believe, is working in Marathon on that one, and he said he didn't have anything really to help for the Alpine building right now. He was focused on the Marathon building.
Okay, so you're looking for somewhere within the city to move. Is that correct?
City or county, I mean, if it's gonna be for tourism and local people, I mean, outside of town, out in the county is a little far for something for events and community to do stuff. So yeah, somewhere in the city would be better.
Right. Yeah, we're pretty landlocked. I'm not sure if anybody has any ideas of where it might go. And I'm also wondering, is this something, probably we would need Chris Ruggia and Henry and Heather to get together. Is it something that would qualify? Well, Rick's on the hot committee under hot funds.
Sounds like there's a fair amount of work to be done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you got going,
Do you have any idea what that, the testing is gonna cost for it?
No, I believe the school was gonna have a testing done for some other piece, and we were gonna try to get them to test the building as well. And I think that fell through for the testing for a school around here. So we don't know what it costs.
You're gonna be in the you got to bring people from outside. They got to do samples. There's a particular protocol they have to follow and go back. So it's.
I think a school was getting tested or was going to, and we were gonna try to piggyback on that since they were already here. So,
They're gonna come out.
but that's all I know right now.
Okay. Thanks, good luck.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, next is discussing and take action regarding we can't take any action, but we can discuss the city's nomination of Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool Board of Trustees and authorize the submission of the nomination prior to August 2nd. So Henry, the floor is yours.
yeah, so we received this. This is, goes out to all the TML intergovernmental risk pool members, which we are members of. And this is from the board secretary. It's time for nominations to fill up 4 positions on the TML Intergovernmental Risk Pool Board of Trustees. The board is comprised of 15 voting members, 12 of whom are elected by the pool's membership to serve a staggered term, 6-year terms. The who and the what, every even numbered year, the term of office for 1/3 of the elected trustees expires. and an election is held to fill those designated places. Terms for trustees in places 1 through 4 expire October 1st, 2026. Place 5 is an appointed rather than elected public member. Those places are currently held by the following individuals. Place 1, J.W. Bug, Poulin, Commissioner, Henderson Housing Authority. Place 2, Emily Crawford, City Manager of Abilene. Place 3, David Rutledge, Mayor, Bridge City. Place 4, Austin Bleeds, City Manager, Jersey Village. The composition of the entire board is on the back of this notice. Eligibility requirements for places 1 to 4 are as follows. Place 1, elected official or employee of any pool member. Place 2, 3, and 4, only elected officials or employees of a municipality that is a pool member. So the nominations must be received by the board secretary at the address below by 11:59 p.m. Friday, August the 2nd. The where and the how. Each board member is elected to a designated place on the board, and all nominations must show which of the places 1, 2, 3, or 4 for which the nomination is made. There's no residency or other requirement applies. The governing body of each board of the pool may nominate one qualified person for the election. Nominations must be mailed to the board secretary with a short biographical sketch of the nominee and showing the designated place for which the nomination is made to the following address: trustee nomination for secretary, P.O. Box 149194, Austin, Texas 78714. The board secretary will distribute a ballot to each pool member by August 17, 2026. So this is just an item. If you want to nominate somebody or if you want to be on the board, this is the time to do it. And if not, it's.
So we as a council cannot take action to take a vote. It would have to be someone who volunteers to have their name thrown in that, because the next meeting we meet is August 4th. That's after nominations are due.
Yeah, or you can give me directions and I can place the names in there.
So is there anyone who wants to stand up and go for this, for the Texas Risk Board? It's a financial management risk board.
Yes, that is
You know,
correct.
so it's the pool of funds that are set aside, and it's a risk management organization, looks at oversight to say, do they have enough funds in the pool to be able to manage the potential obligations? So as opposed to municipal swimming pools, this is not, this is financial.
This have to be a city council or can be a city manager,
Be a city council, could be a city employee.
city employee. Oh.
Yep.
No.
Right, from us, we're not interested.
Okay,
And
that's good.
from a city standpoint, you think there's someone who'd be worthwhile to do it?
Okay,
Nominate anyway.
all right,
Okay,
all right.
thanks, Henry. Okay, next we have is a discussion regarding city boards and commissions for the attendance requirements applicable to appointed boards. This is something the mayor put on. I'll talk to it. She and I talked prior to the meeting. One of the things that we have in our ordinances relative to boards and commissions is there was a provision that said if someone who's assigned a board or commission, a volunteer board or commission, misses 3 meetings in a row, regardless of what the intent is, they're automatically off the board. The mayor and I both believe we got to change that to if they're not excused absences. So the intent behind this was to get some feedback from council to say, does that make sense? If so, we'll ask the city manager and the city secretary to go update that accordingly.
It does make sense.
Makes it sense to everyone? Very good. So if you'd work that, we'd appreciate it. Update that to change it from, and our view is excused would be excused by the board they represent. They can do that as part of their meeting.
Okay.
Okay? If you'd work that and bring it back to council for approval, it's be an ordinance, takes first and second reading, I appreciate it. Okay? Thanks very much.
Should have a word.
Yeah, we got all the boards to be able to work our way through. Yep. You good there? We see all the tumbleweeds rolling past Catherine. Okay, we'll press on. So now we're gonna move into the next item will be item D, discussion regarding the allocation of $100,000 from hotel occupancy tax fund balance for fiscal year 2026 rent awards. Chris, the floor is yours. There you are.
Thank
Stuck up
you.
already.
Chris Ruggia, Director of Tourism. And so as we discussed 2 council meetings ago, there's a shortfall for our upcoming budget for next year. And I am hoping that one time, and only one time is my hope, that you all might allocate from the fund balance to sort of transition us into a balanced budget for next year. But this year, what you'd basically be doing is allowing a more robust promotions calendar from me, and also preventing our grants from having a dramatic reduction from year to year. And so it'd help our hotel tax committee would meet after this. And if you agreed to that transfer of $100,000, they would cut a little bit from the recommendation they already prepared from you and then bring it back to you. But otherwise they'd have to cut considerably from those grants. So that's my hope, is that that's what you'll want to do. But certainly.
Current fund balance is how much?
The current fund balance looks like 450 or something in outside of investments, another 100 in investments.
Yeah, last week we took a look at it, 456,000, and then investments of 105,000.
So you would take 100,000 out of that 456.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we have
Rich?
to, you have to make a decision and just.
So we need to give Chris some guidance, not as approval. He would then go back and use that as the basis to work with the hot committee to do their work, to come back with formal approval to council to say at that number. Right now, he's just looking for, is 100,000 right? So that's his recommendation. I'll speak my view because I work with the hot committee. I think it makes sense. You know, and right now they've got it budgeted for 150,000 over what this would allow them to go back, and they'd cut 50,000 out and come back to council for final approval. So that'd be my plan.
I
You all
think
agree
you
with that?
the
Let's,
money,
we'll let Chris go
why not
work.
do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm good.
You did? Good. Good
Excellent.
work, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll call the committee together and we'll bring you back a recommendation.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your patience. Okay, let's move on to the last item on our list, and that is item E, which we moved from reports and presentations because we expected to take longer than 4 to 6 minutes. And that's Jacob and Martin. Henry, do you have any comments you'd like before Andy comes up?
Andy's here, he's got a full plate there on that report.
Good evening, council, mayor, if you're traveling. Mike is gonna be co-presenting with me tonight. It's required by Texas Water Development Board to have a co-presentation. And so this is the follow-up, a 9-month assessment to the AMPS program, the asset management for small systems. And I'm gonna go quickly through the slideshow. As y'all know, if you have any questions, stop me. I'm glad to review anything as we go along. And so the first slide there, that's just the qualifications. You met the qualifications, you received the grant, so we're not gonna spend too much time there. And this grant is for the, next slide, please. Sorry, I'll try and give you a heads up. I'm gonna go pretty quickly probably. So the next, as a reminder, it's for the wastewater system. There's both the treatment plant and the collection system. We got some nice photos in there of the treatment plant, improvement project that was completed this past year. And then the next slide is a reminder of the program benefits. It is $100,000 grant. There is no city contributions into this. It's paid through Texas Water Development Board. And it's to provide an asset management program, as well as some other components and features with regard to the operation, maintenance, compliance, so on and so forth. Next slide, please. There's also quite a bit of training that was provided with staff, and I do want to give a quick shout out to your staff. They've been great to work with. As y'all know, your utility staff has been short-staffed. It has turnover. The folks are here tonight. I definitely want to say, give a shout out to Richard in the back there. He's running that treatment plant pretty much by himself and has been. And so he's definitely done a great job, and I appreciate his help as well as Mike. And then also, this is, so, and if you remember back in the fall, I said, as part of this project, Texas Water Development Board required me to basically police what had been done since the project, since the initial presentation back in the fall. So this is a follow-up. During this time, we had some additional training. We also provided some more documentation to help your city staff moving forward with this, especially with y'all being short-staffed. We wanted to help them be set up to succeed in the future. So the next slide. The requirements for the city is basically you had to have a contract and then also 80 hours of system staff time. I guarantee you your staff has put in more than 80 hours on this. And I certainly appreciate their time into this. The next slide. So Rick, I'm trying to keep it under 6 minutes.
You're doing great. Keep on running. Don't even slow down. Run.
So the components of the AMPS is first of all, asset management. An asset is basically any physical component to your wastewater system. So it helps just to manage it. We'll get into some of the details on that. A emergency response plan, which is you have an emergency regarding utility. You have a document in place to help you move forward on that. Sustainable systems, that is kind of a dual component like electrical, energy efficiency, and then also public notification, especially things you shouldn't be flushing down the toilet, which can cause problems in a wastewater system. Operation and maintenance, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You got to maintain, you got to operate your system. And then compliance. I'll be going through the asset management. Mike will then take the next 4 sections. And then I'll do the final closing as well. So the next slide is the asset management. I like to use a pump in this example. So you have a new lift station, you put in a pump. You have to design the pump, you have to make sure you select the right pump. You go out there, you procure it, you acquire it, and then you install it. Then from there, during the life of the pump, you're gonna have problems with it. You're gonna have to do regular maintenance, you may have to replace impellers, you may have electrical components that fail. So that's all part of the operation and maintenance. At some point, that pump is gonna meet its end of its useful life. It's gonna be no longer functional, no longer operational. Well, you can't stop your lift station from operating. You still need to look into doing that cycle all over again. You need to look at putting a brand new pump in there and starting that cycle all over again. And that's the main focus of asset management. Once you have an asset in the ground or at the treatment plant, it continues. It continues until you replace it, and then it starts that cycle all over again. Next slide, please. So this is just an example of your GIS. I will say probably the biggest downside is we weren't able to get as much GIS progress as we'd wanted to. And again, that goes back to the staff shortage. But we do have some plans in place. I've been talking with your staff about some ways to try and get that up and going and keep it running. And I, again, appreciate all their effort that they put into this. Next slide, please. So the biggest component of the asset management is a spreadsheet that was developed by TCEQ called the RG530. It's a cumbersome spreadsheet, but it actually produces some really good results if you're able to maintain it. So we did the update, we did it in June, and most of your assets did not change. All they did is get 1 year older. Now there were a couple pumps that were replaced, and so I've worked with Richard to update that. Now Richard is ready to take that moving forward into the subsequent years. The second slide, and if you remember from the fall, and I realize you have a lot of things that come across your plate as city council members, you'll see the number later. This spreadsheet says you have a lot of items to replace. It's almost $9 million, but a lot of that is pipes and manholes that have exceeded the useful life of 50 years. If you're familiar with sewer pipes, you may have problems, you may not, you don't know. They're buried underground, there could be problematic, they could not be, you don't know. But just because it exceeds 50 years doesn't mean you should go out and start laying a new sewer line. So we have a recommendation in the fall. We're carrying it forward to tonight that I want to present to you. But as we start looking at these numbers, keep in mind, just because it exceeded its useful life, especially on pipes or manholes, does not mean it needs immediate replacement. Next slide, please. So the second worksheet here is called comprehensive planning. Again, it's just a follow through. And so what they do is say you have a pump, we'll say a 10-year life of a pump costs $10,000 to replace that pump. They want you to set aside $1,000 per year. So that way, when that pump meets its useful life, you have the funds already in place to purchase the next pump. So again, that's pretty much what this worksheet is showing you. And these only are snippets of it. I mean, there's probably plus or minus 100, 150 assets that we work through. Next slide, please. The projected capital expenses. This just lays out years 1 through 5, kind of as I described with that pump. $1,000 per year for $10,000 pump for 10 years. Next slide, please. This is a good improvement here. When I presented in the fall, you actually showed a deficit. You had more expenses than revenue, but that was because you had set aside some capital funds as part of your expenses for the wastewater treatment plant improvement project. And so as we're showing, you're seeing higher revenue than expenses, but that gap closes. And the reason is because your revenue growth based on population projections is less than the inflation percentages of this area. And so that's why it's showing that gap closing. Inflation is exceeding growth. So the next slide, this is the fun one. This is where the $9 million comes into play. This shows that based on the age of the assets and based on the expected life of each asset, that you should be planning to spend $9 million next year to replace all your old pumps, all your old pipes, all your old manholes. We know that's not feasible. We know that's not practical, but it does give you an indication of the age of your assets in your wastewater system. Next slide, please. And I talked about this back in the fall. Primarily focus on the pipes and the manholes. We don't know the condition of them. There's a company I've worked with before. I've done probably 3, 4, 5 different projects with them. Their name is In Situ Form. They're a larger company. They have multiple arms of it. So my recommendation, and we got a proposal from them to have them come in and basically do a video inspection of every single manhole and every single pipe in your sewer collection system. Focus on the gravity components. The budget that they gave us about $550,000 to do it. In the CIP, you'll see it's $700,000. There's some manholes that are not showing up in your GIS along the trunk main to the plant. We know are there, but we did not have them in the GIS. And guarantee they're going to find stuff that they're going to need to fix just so they can continue doing the camera work. These folks produce great work. They will give you a video, paper reports. They will set up a recommend improvement plan. They will provide you GIS data. So it's a lot of money, but these folks are professional and they do a great job. And then as you're preparing to fix maybe some of the deficiencies are found, they already have all the camera work done. They already have all the information they need to, whether it's CIPP, whether it's manhole rehab. You don't have to have a company come in and do another inspection because they already have that information and they are by board eligible. I've done, again, multiple projects with them when I was at the city of San Angelo through the buy board proposal, and they do great work. So it is quite a bit of expense, but compared to the $9 million, it's a pretty good investment. So you can see the condition, see what really needs to be replaced. Any questions so far? Okay. With regard to the recommendations for asset management, it is recommended to have an annual presentation to City Council. I think the water workshop that y'all have been followed would be a great time to do that. GIS asset management, update to RG 530. Use that as a tool for budgeting purposes going forward. Again, recommending the pipe and manhole condition assessment as part of fiscal year 2027. Grant and low interest loan application. That's an ongoing process. We've assisted the city for the last 5 years of putting in a project information form to Texas Water Development Board for the wastewater treatment plant. So continue doing that. Recommendation to do a rate study after you do the condition assessment. That way you know exactly what facilities need to be updated, and then continue maintaining and updating the asset management plan, and then implement a fiscal sustainability plan. So any questions at this point? Okay, so Mike's going to take it for a few slides now.
Good evening, everybody. Mike Macias, Utilities Water. So on this next slide, City of Alpine Wastewater Utility, the Emergency Response Plan template. It's been updated in June of 2026. Next slide. The next one after that one. Okay, on that one, it's just shows an updated contact information. There was some names that were there before, and so everything's kind of been updated. You see Rich, myself there, all the other important people that have been added to that contact list. Next slide. Sustainable systems, energy assessment. Portion of the systems was completed back in the fall of 2025. Also some of the FOG resources and the flushable resources. Next slide. On that City of Alpine, the energy usage summary table, we don't have, but Rich is working on it. So he's diligently working on it, trying to get that complete. And on that other portion, there's items that have been updated. So he's like I said, he's working on that. Next slide. These right here, it's planned for the next fiscal year. We're gonna send PDFs, of course, to kind of educate the citizens as what to flush. You know, they say they're flushable, but they're really not. It's kind of it hurts the system, the collection system, and the pumps. Of course, it after so many times it kind of messes up with the impellers and the longevity of the pump, as you all know. We're gonna send resources out with social media, websites, probably flyers or anything that goes in bills. That way it could that can educate the citizens. Next slide. The NPDS is an overview. Just a description of the wastewater treatment and associated process equipment. Gives guidance components of O&M operations and maintenance. Next slide. Part of that shows this is gonna be an updated. It will be updated annually. It kind of helps with the operator maintenance. It's not really anything reportable by TCEQ standards, but it's good for operator maintenance to see where we're at and what we need to do as far as gives us a baseline if we need to address something or something needs a maintenance or any type of addressing. Next slide. On that daily City of Alpine wastewater treatment plant daily worksheet, we do that daily. Again, that's not a reportable sheet, but definitely those numbers are very important. It gives us the effluent reads, the influent reads. Also, it gives us the longevity of our pumps and the running time of it, chlorine usage, which is all within, it has to be within the parameters of the TCQ permit that we're allotted. And on that operation, that O&M sheet, Rich is working on that. This is a really good, it kind of gives shows what we're doing there at the wastewater plant. Next slide. This maintenance log is really very important for us. It shows, as you saw, Rich and Christian have always, they see what they're doing on maintenance log. It's really important for us to kind of see where we're at, and it draws a baseline of where we're at. And let's say we want to do it weekly or monthly, and then when we get audited every 2 years of a TCEQ agent comes in, he or she can see that what we've been doing, and we've been staying on it. That way it shows that we're on top of things. And then next slide. Where am I at? Over here. Okay. The national, it's part of compliance. It's just rules and regulations. The NPDES permit, it's just a portion of it. Let me see. Laboratory requirements, record keeping requirements. That's really that's for TCQ standards. And then let's see the next slide after that. Okay, these are just examples of compliance. The laboratory, we have the laboratory at the plant that we need to also have regulations and examples of what we're doing so we can stay on top of it. Of course, chlorine residuals that we have to be in compliance with TCQ. Next slide. And this is a monthly report. It hadn't been done, but the benefit, that's part of the benefit of this AMPS program, because it allows us to kind of see where we needed to add something, and this is what we did. It had been done, but we're starting to do it now. So as you can see, Rich is doing it on a monthly basis, so that's working out for us.
Next slide. And the final slide. So in conclusion, we went through pretty quickly months worth of work that your staff has put into it. The program, I think, has been really good. A lot of these examples that Mike has been giving of the forms have been filled out. A lot of them had been filled out, or a type of those forms, but we've added some additional forms that have been really helpful. Mike had mentioned that monthly effluent report that goes to TCEQ. That's something that had not been done. So we were able to identify a few things that actually help. And especially we've been talking about the water system. One of the biggest things one of the most difficult things for engineers to do is try to solve a problem when you don't have adequate data. So by getting these records and getting these data and keeping up with these records like this, if there is a problem at the plant in the future, it's really going to help us be able to solve problems a lot more efficiently. And you know, as we talk about, again, the water system, trying to solve a problem when you don't have enough data is just extremely difficult. The last slide here is a 2-page, we'll call it an executive summary for what to help your staff on an annual basis, what they need to update and how to go through it. A lot of these spreadsheets, we've given copies to your staff in electronic format. And so we've kind of really tried to help them set them up for future success of maintaining this asset management program. So with that, I'd ask if there's any questions. I left you speechless?
No, going through my notes, because I went through all of it over the weekend. But just reading through it, just trying to refresh my memory of what my thought process was when I was going through it. Let's see. We got so much thing. We got a lot to manage. So what are your recommendations, I guess, this is where I would like to start on how to start getting these manholes in all of our sewer line infrastructure actually inspected, because you and I both know, like you're saying, just because the life expectancy is 50 years doesn't mean it's necessarily going to make it to 50 years, and it also doesn't mean that that's the end of its life.
Right.
What's your recommendation there?
So to add on to that too, when it's sewer, especially gravity, if there is a problem, more often than you don't know. It's like water under pressure. You might see some water bubbling out. Sewer under gravity is not going to, so it could be an underground problem. So my recommendation would be to go ahead and accept that proposal, put it in the fiscal year 2027 budget. And again, I understand it's quite a bit of investment. And I do want the council to know that I went through the proposal. I worked actually with the gentleman who put the proposal together. And he provided a line item budget item for each specific line item in there. And all the line items were consistent with buy board and were within reasonable cost values. So I would recommend to include it as part of the CIP for 2027 fiscal year. And then as soon as the money is set aside, start working with them to get that implemented. Also in the CIP, put, I think, about $750,000 for the following year for maybe some of the things that they find. What it's going to be, we have no idea. But they may find, with sewer, you can see offsets, you can see manholes, brick manholes that have openings. I've seen a lot of stuff in sewer systems put that way through video. So my recommendation would be to invest the $700,000 plus or minus. Get a good idea. You'll have it in GIS, you will have videos, you'll have the report, see what their recommendations are for improvements, and then act appropriately, but have a professional complete the assessment first.
And that's currently in the CIP, is it not?
That's correct. It is for year one.
Yep, it's on number one.
Yep. Mainline conditions.
Yep.
And I guess one thing to add to council too, I have talked to USDA about possibly trying to find some funding, but because we don't have a construction project, they can't, they have some grants for preliminary engineering reports, but not really to that level. But if we were able to complete the assessment and come up with a construction project, that perhaps we could get funding for whatever construction project. But we're keeping in contact with USDA very frequently to see if we can find some funding mechanisms for both the sewer and the water.
And then, I guess for our east side, like our Stukey's pump and the pump next to, Holiday Inn Express, been having issues with the Holiday Inn Express, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, we have issues with all three of them. So they're just antiquated stations. We definitely need to get a few pumps back in online. I know Stukey's is down to one pump, and we're just having issues with that. Especially when it rains, that whole system. This past couple of days when we had the storm, it all went out. And so we were there kind of babysitting it until it kicks back in. So it does need to be addressed. So as painful as it is for me to say, it needs addressing. And so that's gonna cost a little bit. So hopefully I can get All American Pump to come out there and start working on the pumps and at least try to fix what we got for now until we get a permanent solution.
So with this assessment, have we looked at any kind of permanent solutions for those stations? Are they adequately sized, or what are we looking at there?
I haven't looked into detail into the stations. So part of the project is just getting an inventory of your assets, not actually looking at the design or anything like that.
Perfectly.
So if they're old, put it this way, I went through with your staff and through some of your budgetary items over the last few years. If it's beyond its useful life, it's documented. If it's within its useful life, then from my perspective, from what I've seen, it's good. That makes sense. I do know that you do need some replacement pumps at some of your lift stations to backstock some of your ones that have been put in there.
Right, yeah. Inevitably, and I think like with stormwater, it's like get into code and state law there, it shouldn't even be going into sanitary sewer at all, so figure out where that's getting in. That'll help alleviate our issues.
That's part of the solution.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and this is a Situform company. They have some really good innovative solutions where it's a lot less intrusive on the land as well as cost of doing what they call in situ solutions or in place. You can do CIPP where you put a lining inside the pipe. You can put some lining in manholes. Some of the solutions that, you may have to do some spot repairs, but it's not like you have to put brand new manholes and pipes in there unless it's completely in a horrible condition.
Yeah. And I guess this was probably more for you, Mike, for the GIS and the or RG 530. Do we have an idea of who we're gonna have taking that over?
Actually, we have two options we're kind of considering. We have there's a employee in the gas department who does GIS on their side, and he's pretty knowledgeable, and he's kind of mapped out quite a bit of their system. So we're thinking of implementing him on the water side if it's something that's feasible for him to do. I know it's a little more daunting because the maps are unfortunately the valves are kind of misleading, and the lines don't show exactly where they're at. So but another one, we just hired a wastewater employee, and he takes interest in GIS, so we may just try to incorporate that as well, get training and go from there. And that way, when we fix a leak or have a sewer backup, one of the guys, whoever was working, can tell that operator, and they can just type it in, and then hopefully, and the vision is they can just go on the computer on the phone and kind of see what equipment was used, what clamp was used, and so on and so forth. The line, what type of line? Yes, sir.
So we know exactly what's where.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome. And then I guess as far as finding, like, I know we find manholes up. We just found one the other
Yes,
day,
sir.
right?
3 of them.
And then valves and the lack thereof. Is there really any kind of, I guess, solid solution that we can maybe utilize to speed up that process? I know manholes are what they are. And those are kind of easier to find because they're in general locations, right?
Sure.
But now valves, we've had a number of issues with. And so that would be where my priority personally would be as far as trying to get all these valves located and mapped. I know I've heard of solutions, but do you have anything that y'all are able to offer, any kind of contractors that y'all work with that would be able to help us in that department?
Yeah, certainly. So if you're talking water system.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I know this for.
Yeah, no,
Sewer, but I'm sorry, I'm thinking both.
100% fine. So we, as part of this project, we did provide some training on GIS on how to do it. Basically, that will run out at the end of July. But we do have our GIS manager who has trained multiple small cities and water systems. You know, if you get a GPS unit, he would be able to help them try to set them up for success. There's also some third-party companies that may be able to come in and do specific locates and things like that. I don't have any recommendations right off the top of my head, but if it's something that y'all are interested, you know, leak detection, there's a lot of specialized companies out there that are willing to come in and do that stuff. What the success rate would depend on company to company. Right now, I don't have a great recommendation on that, but there's options out there.
Would it be a fair assumption that this $1.8 million into smart meters to free these guys up, be able to get them properly trained, start doing this in-house would probably be a better investment?
100%. I am 100% a supporter of y'all going with smart meters. In addition to saving your staff time, it's also, some of your constituents may not be happy, but you're probably gonna get some more revenue because of your old meters have water loss inherent into just older mechanical meters. But no, I think that is a wise investment for the city.
But I mean, as far as them being able to get the training, start going through as far as locating and mapping all of this, you think that'd be feasible investment as far as the city's concerned? Or is it better to go through a third party to do such?
So if I understand your question correctly, when you purchase the meters, I would recommend having the third party, whoever provides that meter, they could probably get a contractor or subcontractor to install the meters. That's okay.
I'm saying the investment of the 1.8 to get the meters installed, so they're not having to waste a month reading meters. So now they have extra time to be invested elsewhere.
Yes.
And getting them trained on how to properly locate these valves and everything and start mapping all of this in-house instead of hiring a third party to do all the mapping for us, or would you think it'd be better to go third party?
I think that I think it'd probably be good for y'all to get the meters and open up their time and see where you're at that point. Where I was going a little bit right there is if you hire a third party, they may be able to GPS each meter as they install it too. So you may be able to have all your meters GPS that you can just bring right into GIS automatically.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I mean,
and
we'll do
then
that with the meters.
then the
We're
valves,
talking
yeah.
valves and stuff, having them do the valves.
Yeah.
Third party for sure for the meters, have them install it and do all the hard work on that. That's why we're gonna pay them almost $2 million.
Yes, 100% agree. But yeah, I think my recommendation where the plan would be open up their time and see where you're at that point with regard to staffing. But I think definitely your staff could get trained in locating the valves, shooting them in with a GPS unit, bring that into GIS. And running in the future to have a good updated GIS system for water and wastewater.
And then, I mean,
We can go forever.
I could go forever. So this would be my last one. I'm sorry. That's Steven, but for as far as like getting all of our pumps prioritized and our risks out here at the wastewater treatment facility, so we can therefore better prioritize our CIP moving forward past what we already have. Is that something that we can be provided?
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
So like our lift stations, you're saying you haven't evaluated them or anything yet?
Yes.
Is that something we can look at getting done as far as like risk assessment on life expectancy and conditions of what we have out at our wastewater treatment facility? So we can start looking at, you know, what needs to be done into CIP moving further out than what we have here, or maybe even being added into this?
Oh, certainly, certainly, yeah. Similar, so we talked about the PPG grant for USDA for the water system.
Yes.
I haven't looked into any grant opportunities for the wastewater system, but if you knew you had a project coming up, we could maybe see if there's some funding opportunities. And we could do the exact same thing on a wastewater system we're doing on the water, set up a computer model, do an inventory, do a physical assessment, look at the electrical, things like that to carry into the future. And if we have this assessment done and have a project, we may be able to wrap it into that project where you can have some sort of funding mechanism as opposed to trying to find money in your annual budget.
Beautiful. Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Richie, anything else?
No, that was a lot.
Eva?
I
Thank
know
you.
it is a lot to need to be done, but some of the expenses that you were talking, Mike, were these some included on your budget? Some of the expenses that you already
Yes,
they need to be done, do you add it all in the
Yes, ma'am.
budget?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
That's good.
Lucy?
No, I felt did a good job, including us needing, the meters. That's a really good idea.
Yes, ma'am. I think the smart meters is absolutely, I can't say smart meters enough to you guys. I was thinking about changing my name to Smart Meters Macias. But we really need them. I think it's gonna benefit the city, the citizens as well. I think it's really important to do that. Like Rob and Andy said, and I'm sure y'all would agree, it frees up our crew to do bigger and better things and work on the infrastructure, find valves, locating all that stuff. That's really important. And some of that has fallen by the wayside through the years. So smart meters is the way to go.
Good. Thanks. Mayor, any additional comments now that you're in a stable location?
Oh, thank goodness, I'm in a stable location. Yes, Mike, Andy, I'm pretty sure the council is prioritizing smart meters because we realize the benefit of them, not just for the efficiency of time, but also to reduce shrinkage of water loss, which is the commodity that we're selling. And we need to make sure that we capture all of that. And your presentation never fails to deliver. It was very thorough, very good. I always defer to our expert, our plumber, Rob, and he's asked you a lot of great questions, and just keep on. That's it.
Jen, thanks so much. So just to give everyone a perspective who may not have seen the council package, this was 150 pages out of the 383 that we have tonight. I'd say you definitely earned the money associated with this. So Andy and Mike and Rich, thanks very much for doing all this.
Thank you. And I will be honest, I repeated some of these from the fall.
No, it's okay. It's a big package, lots to cover, and our brains sometimes have to get it pushed in a couple, 3 times. I'm going to propose council take a 5-minute break before we go into item number 12 for action items and get a biological break or whatever you choose to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5 action items, executive reports, and then executive session. So we're hope of finishing by 4:09. Rock and roll. Okay. So let's reconvene, city council, and we'll dive into the action items. And our first action item is to approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2026-07-01. An ordinance approving rezoning application 2026-7-01, amending the official zoning map of the city by rezoning a property located at 1301 West Avenue J and legally described as 2.0 acre tract of land, more or less known as tract 1, out of the east 1/2 of lot 2, means addition subdivision A to the city of Alpine, Brewster County, Texas. The same appears in the map or the plat records on file in the office of the county clerk of Brewster County, Texas. Rezoning the subject property from R2 multifamily district to R4 mixed residential district, providing findings of fact with BO severability, effective date, proper notice, and hearing clauses. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2026, TAC 07, TAC 01 as presented.
Second.
And we have a motion and we have a second. Henry, you're listed for this. Any additional comments you'd like to provide? This is the second time we've seen this.
So the purpose of the request is to allow additional flexibility for residential development. In accordance with statutory requirements with city procedures, the Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing on June 22nd. After proper notice was published and mailed to nearby property owners, following consideration of public input and staff review, the commission voted to recommend approval of the rezoning request to the city council.
So does anyone like to have any discussion? Hearing none, Rich?
Aye.
Eva?
Aye.
So a motion passes 4-0. We'll move on to action item 12B. Award the contract for RFP 2026-06-01 road materials to Jared Dirtworks and paving for grade 3 topping rock and base mate, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary agreements and rendered documents. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion that we approve the award to Jared Brickworks.
So we have a motion. Is there a second? And we have a second. City manager.
The city publicly solicited proposals for roadway materials through RFP 2026-06-01 in accordance with the city's procurement procedures. The proposal was evaluated using the best value criteria established in the RFP, including pricing, delivery, capability, vendor reputation, references, prior performance, and overall long-term value to the city. Based upon the evaluation committee's review and scoring, staff recommends award to Jared Dirtwork and paving for grade 3 top rock and base material as the proposal determined to provide the best overall value to the city.
So, Rich, any questions?
No, sir.
Kevin?
No.
Rob? Lucy?
No.
Mayor, any comments or thoughts? So as you expect, Henry, I do have 2 questions.
Okay.
What's the total contract value and is it within budget?
What was this, about $50,000? The total? Yeah, it was about $50,000.
50,000, okay, thank you, and in budget. Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, so let's go and vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes 4-0. To award the contract for Jared Dirtworks for the grade 3 topping rock and base maintenance. Action item 12C, approve resolution 2026-06-13, a resolution adopting the city of Alpine's master fee schedule, establishing appendices A through H, authorizing periodic update of the fees by resolution, repealing conflicting resolutions, directing implementation, and providing for an effective date. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve resolution 2026-06-13 as presented.
Okay, and is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Henry, let's turn it over to you. Give us kind of the rundown.
Okay, so we've reviewed this. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time. So we went back and made the adjustments, which were very minimal. The one with the water rate was the $4 for base rate and $1.50 for volume, and then $2 for the sewer rate. And Most everything else, stayed the same. We did adjust the swimming pool rate. It was $5, but then we came back and amended it to $4, so it's, $4 there.
Okay. Questions, comments? Rob?
I have just one. So for our water and sewer extensions, I thought we were doing all of them at cost. We missed one, for and sewer. And then we were gonna do it as well with our gas. Which I don't see either one of those reflecting. Yeah, 1 inch gas tab still $1,000 instead of it cost, and then same with main extensions. So this, I get, we just make it an amendment and then pass that with amendment. So, if I may, I'll make the amendment that we bring all extensions and tap fees to be at cost.
Right. Is there a second to that?
Second.
There's a second to the amendment. Okay. Any additional discussion? Okay, so let's dispose of the amendment first. All in favor of the amendment to make extensions at cost, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the amendment passes. Now let's go back to the original motion as amended. Rich, I'll say you.
Aye.
Aye.
Eva?
Aye.
Okay, so it passes 4-0. City Secretary, we got it right? Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, and let's move on to action item D, approve the city's capital improvement plan updates, including the project priorities, funding considerations, and next steps in the planning process. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the city's capital improvement plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Henry, floor is yours.
So we provided an updated summary. The total on the capital for the year one is 6 million. Majority of that is the gas department with 1.1 million. 1 million related to the gas meters. Then we have on the airport, there's 506,000. Majority of that is grant funded. Okay. On the utilities, we have the 700,000 for the manhole study. We have the 1.8 million for the smart water meters, giving us a total of 3.8. So the majority of this first year is the utility investments. And this would be paid through user rate fees. You know, and for the life of the asset. Another thing, this is just a capital improvement plan. It is a strategy. We still would have to go find funding for it. Obviously, we cannot find funding for it, then we cannot purchase it. But this, by council approving this, it gives us, as part of the strategy, to go ahead and go look for the funding and the way to implement it. This doesn't mean it gets implemented. So we still have to find the funding for it, either through a grant or through a loan or through a bond. Right? So council will still have, the individual items would still have to come before council and get council's approval and follow the, the procurement procedures.
And when you come forward with the budget, you'll include this as part of the strategy for the overall budget.
For the overall budget, yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So Lucy, want to start with you? Any comments?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Rob?
I'll make the comment. This is like cleanest one I've seen since I've been on council and also when I was a building official, watching all the other ones. So I really appreciate all the hard work going into this. It looks really well. I'm getting with where the priorities are, with the circumstances that we have at hand.
Eva?
I agree. Yeah, it's very clear. I can understand. It covers everything, so that gives a great idea.
Rich?
Oh, thank you. Great. We need to move forward.
Mayor, comments?
Well done, Henry. It is. I'm going to second what they were saying. It's one of the best capital improvement plans I've seen since I've been on council too. It's very clear and organized, definite shows a plan for us to move forward. Well done. And I agree with what you have on there.
All the department directors provided all the input. We put it together for the council.
Thank you.
Follows the KISS principle, keep it simple.
Simple, yes.
Yes, I'll leave the second I saw. And with that, let's go ahead and call for the question. Rich?
Aye.
Emma?
Aye.
All right. So the motion passes for the capital improvement plan 4-0. Action item 12D, approve the agreement of the new Roberts 3 well with Jacob and Mark LLC for professional engineering services related to the new Roberts #3 well project. There is a motion to approve the agreement.
I make the motion to approve the agreement of the new Roberts Well #3 with Jacob and Martin LLC.
Is there a second? And we have a motion, we have a second. Henry, the floor is yours.
Okay, so every now and then our engineers, as we task them to work on additional stuff, this is additional stuff. And that's why we're bringing it to you, so that you know that they've already been helping us, you know, whenever Mike needs support or anybody, but this is just to make it official and that we are engaging them for an additional task.
Okay, I have a question. It says the new Roberts #3. What are we calling the new well? New well 3 or is it Roberts?
Henry one.
Well, I mean, we don't have a name for it yet, but we'll get an official name.
Okay, but this is the new well.
This is the new well, yes.
Okay. Anyone have any comments, thoughts, discussion points?
I agree with that.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means. Let's do that.
So now.
Yeah. Mayor, any comments?
It's a must do.
Yep. Okay. So I'll call for the question. Rich?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, a motion passes 4-0, and we just completed the action items under item number 12. Next is the executive reports. We have 2. Just a reminder, we have the city mayor report. Since there's nothing listed, we are not allowed to ask questions. When we go to the city manager report, there's a whole bunch of items we can ask questions related to anything that the city manager has on the list. So Mayor, I'll turn the floor to you.
Awesome. Thank you. I just want to remind everybody that great things are happening in our city. We're moving forward. We have very active council. We're getting things done. We're tackling the infrastructure. We're developing a plan on what to do next so that we don't get caught in a bind again. We also have received many travel awards. I noticed this when I was attending the roundtable. Heather has a wonderful display that shows all the Texas travel awards that Alpine has received. If you haven't heard, or maybe just to summarize for you, we've got the Best Outdoor Activity Award, a Texas Travel Award, the Best Statewide View, which would be Hancock Hill. We received the Best Music Venue, which is the Ritchie. We've received the Best Destination Podcast, which is Heart of the Big Bend. We have received the Best Instagram Spot for the state of Texas, which is The Desk. We've received the Best Public Art for our downtown murals. We received the Best Museum for the Museum of the Big Bend, and the Best Musical Festival, which is Viva Big Bend. We are rocking, guys, and it's not just us. It's also Sewell Ross State University with the museum. And of course, this is for all the hard work and dedication from Chris Ruggia and Heather Yaden. They work hard. They are tremendous assets for the city. And then we received the new award, the Tourism Friendly Texas Travel Award. So that's something to be proud of. When you hear people saying negative things about the city of Alpine, just remember that we are doing things and we are moving forward, and we have been working with our partnerships. We have the Manuel Payne field agreement with AISD so that alone we couldn't fix it up as well as it needed to be fixed up, but with their help we're going to be able to do that. We've talked before about becoming a tournament destination. which will help bring in more tourism dollars. We've got to be forward thinking. We have to think about what ifs. We have to plan for 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road. If tourism drops to the national park, that's about 600,000 to 700,000 people that go there every year. A good percentage of them come through Alpine and they spend money here, sales tax dollars. We heard in our workshop about revenue. We need to start thinking about revenue. If that number decreases in the national park, then our sales tax revenue is going to go down. So we have to think about what can we do to ensure that Alpine is sitting in a good position to survive some kind of downturn at the national park. So the tournament destination is one of those that we have talked about before. And then we know we have the agreement with Sul Ross State University and the amphitheater at Coconut Lodge to do the summer concert series, and that's going on right now. So that's another partnership that's coming out. We mentioned it during the workshop, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more in the city mayor report. We had talked before, the judge and myself and Henry, about forming a partnership for economic development. The judge has taken it to where he's going to focus on Brewster County. So they're putting in a visitor center in Marathon and also in Terlingua to help bring in. So they're wanting to push up those communities as well, which will benefit Alpine also. So that's not a bad thing necessarily. We need to focus on our city. So we need to think about economic development for Alpine with that joint venture off of the table. The judge has already started to form his committee. They've already started meeting. And so they're working on Brewster County. We need to have somebody that's focused on Alpine, which is us. And I'm glad that we're going to go ahead and do the look at what Sul Ross State University, the SBDC, and the other university, Rick, that you were mentioning, that put together a plan 10 years ago. Look to see what they can do for us now and then take it, because this is a 3-year thing. Yeah, we're not ready to hire an economic developer tomorrow. We need to get the data, we need to get the research and have help doing that, pulling together all the statistics. And then if we deem it necessary, then look at the company that Henry's hiring where they can actually actively recruit for us. And so that's a little bit about the economic development and what's happening there. We just need to think proactively and long range about what we're going to do if our revenue decreases from tourism to the national park. Okay, and that's it for me.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Henry, floor is yours.
Okay, so this past Friday, we had the city public service recognition week, because it was scheduled for May, but we had the water crisis, so we said we'll reschedule for July. We had last week, we had 8 teams participating in the Cowboy Walk Discada Cook-Off. It started raining on us, but they didn't give up. They said, well, we'll go ahead and do it. And so it dried up a little bit. We had our work, and the judges got the utilities department that won the cook-off.
Oh,
So
cool.
we had outside judges helping with, they said they got a lot of tacos and they enjoyed them all. So that was good. That was good team building exercise for the group. And so we had a big storm come in Sunday, and just Eddie's crew was active out there, and in all the other departments to pick up debris, what have you. I received some very positive comments that by the time they went out there to check all the gravel that was on the street, it was already picked up. So that's thanks to Eddie's crew, and also the about 4 extra employees that we had from the Texas Workforce Commission program that you all approved. The students, they're out there working with the park, so Eddie didn't have to shift anybody over there. So those guys are working out at the parks. And then also one at the visitor center that's doing a really good job. So all this helps the community.
Super. How we doing on new Roberts 3?
It's so Mike, you want to give an update on that?
Sure. East Campbell won.
Well, we're making progress, a little bit of headway. Thomas Skinner has run into a little bit of difficulties with drilling. I guess the terrain is not as forgiving as we'd like, so we're about 165, 170 feet. They're gonna borrow our generator. Theirs went down, so they're gonna borrow our mobile generator tomorrow and then start getting back at it again. So they're making progress. So of course, we would hope it'd be sooner than later, but we'll take it as it comes. That's where they're at right now.
Yeah, and the old Roberts 3, how deep was it? Do you recall?
How deep, as far as what, 160 feet, I think is where it stopped pumping,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. And this new emergency well is gonna go 325 or something around. there.
Okay.
So it's gonna exceed that quite a bit.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions for Henry? Nope. Okay, with that, it's the opportunity for city council members. Rich?
None, thank you.
Eva? Lucy?
Kenny did an amazing job. It is actually the first time I've been able to really having to do with numbers that actually makes sense. Thank you so much.
Okay, and with that, we move from item number 14 to item number 15, executive session. City council reserves the right to reconvene, recess, realign, change the order of business or adjourn into executive sessions at any time during the course of the meeting prior to adjournment to discuss any item listed as authorized by Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with attorney. So we have on our list, consultation attorney 551.071 Texas Government Code regarding the receipt of a disannexation petition for the properties known respectively as 21 or 2701 US 90, 2801 A US 90, and 2801 B US 90 Texas, Alpine, Texas. Is there a motion to move into executive session?
Make a motion that we move into executive session.
We have a motion and we have a second. Please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. And so we have, it's 4-0. We will now move into executive session. And let's take a 5-minute break so people can move on their way and we'll go to executive session. Thank you. We're close to 8.
We can go see the concert. Maybe the band is like-
Okay, is there a motion to move back into regular session?
Make the motion to move back into regular session.
We have a motion and a second. Take a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
So motion passes 4-0. Is there, so we're back into regular session. Is there any action after executive session?
Action after executive session.
So we have a motion, take no motion after executive session. We have a second. Any discussion? No. All right.
Aye.
And the motion passes 4-0. No motion or no action after executive session. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, all.
There you go.
See ya.
Thanks.